Hi everyone, it's Miss Dragonfly back again, and today is another video in my commentary and reaction series. Please like, share and subscribe so my videos can reach more people and so my message can spread to more and more people. Now, most of you would have known about Dr. Jordan Peterson. Yes, he's achieved a lot of notoriety. He's a Canadian psychologist, well-known psychologist, and he's gone viral on social media, particularly YouTube, ever since there was a video of him debating with some leftists. Now, today's video is a talk about the key to a happy marriage, which most people forget about. So let's see what he's got to say and whether or not I agree with it. Okay.
In a relationship that you can spar with. You have hard problems to solve. And you want someone, I think, in a relationship that you can spar with. And it's partly because you have hard problems to solve. And if the person that you're with isn't willing to put forward their opinion, then you only have half the cognitive power that you would otherwise have. And hopefully you find someone who's interestingly different from you, like not so different that you can't communicate, and you have to be careful of that, but interestingly different, and then hopefully they have the ability and the will to express their opinion, and then, well, then it's, then your interest stays heightened, and there has to be that tension in a relationship. People think, well, I want to get along perfectly with my partner. It's like, no, you probably don't. You just get bored, and then you go looking for trouble. And so you want a little bit of trouble in the relationship, and a little bit of mystery, and a little bit of combativeness, and the ability to exchange opinions forthrightly. And I trust her, which is a huge element. I mean, when we finally did decide to get together permanently, we were both in our later 20s. And
now, this point I actually agree with when he says that you don't want someone too much alike, and so that they can help you and support you. So I guess what he's trying to say, and my point is that your partner has to be complementary to you. There is no point in them being exactly the same as you, because then it's exactly the same skill set again. So you want to be able to get along with them, of course, naturally as you are, but at the same time, they have a different skill set. And because of that as well, and they're able to see things from a different point of view, they see, yeah, that would be an advantage to you. So you can see your view and what you're used to seeing, but if your partner, on the other hand, can see another point of view, and obviously something that you'll miss, that is a great asset, because no one can be good at everything. We have our own skill set, own way of thinking, and our own way of looking at things. So if your partner is able to bring in another skill set with another point of view, it really helps. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Miss Dragonfly, and I am what you could say is an alternate relationship expert. Now, the dragonfly has the ability to see far beyond human visual capabilities in different spectrums, so able to see a lot of things that we can't. So like the dragonfly, I am able to see things in another spectrum, so to speak. I see a lot of things that others, especially other relationship experts, miss. I looked around and realized that all the relationship advice being sprouted around were essentially useless and doesn't work over the long run. Now, with my special insight, I'm able to give relationship advice that actually works in real life. The difference is, unlike all the others, I actually work with human nature. So instead of telling people how they need to change their behavior to make relationships work, I think of how do we use human nature to make relationships work and to achieve the end result that we want. Also, this channel is about long-term, forever relationships. So if you're just after something casual, a casual relationship, then you won't need any of this advice because it's easy. All you need is someone lots of fun and good looking. So check out my videos to get the big picture on love, the truth about relationships, how they work, how the sexes work, and most important of all, how to choose the right partner that will become your special someone, your forever partner. A good analogy I do is just like, a carpenter and a plumber. Okay, they might be working on the same job. They might be great mates, able to get along and so forth, but they have different skill sets, and that helps each other, elevates each other. So the carpenter alone can accept a whole wider range of jobs, because when you build something, there's a part where you need the plumbing to be built, and you can coordinate with your mate that's a plumber. Hey, more work, and so that elevates yourself as well. So let's see what else he has to say.
One of the things that I had learned by that point and insisted to her about was that we had to tell each other the truth. And she took to that wholeheartedly, and for better and for worse, because truths can be harsh.
Does that include, does this outfit make me look fat?
Yeah, well, the truthful answer to that is I don't answer questions that are likely to get me in trouble. Yeah, so.
I have a son who will answer honestly, and it's infuriating. But then I realized if you want the truth, talk to Tamara. I'll tell you.
Well, that's the thing. It's useful to know.
The truth is empowering. Truth tellers are charismatic, and actually both my sons are brutally honest, which is disconcerting.
Yeah.
But I can see that it's made them very formidable, and because of people trust them and the friendships, and just it gives them and you've written a lot about this.
Well, if I tell my wife that she looks good in an outfit, she knows that I mean it.
Yeah.
And so there's some utility in that.
And then if you're silent and say, I don't answer questions, that she goes and changes
knows
Well, sometimes, she'll say, do you like this? And I'll tell her that I don't. And that doesn't necessarily make her happy in the moment.
Right.
But if I do say I like it, she knows that I mean it. And, I actually like her sense of style a lot. So it turns out that 90% of the time it's pretty easy for me to say, look, I think you look great, and mean it. Mm-hmm. And, she's a fairly harsh standard bearer too. She's insisted that I stay in whatever reasonable physical shape I happen to be in. That was something that she's very demanding of. And I would say that it's the same from my side. And we've been good at negotiating, which is, what do you want from a partner fundamentally? What do you want and need? I mean, the first thing is that, well, hopefully, like I said, you're blessed with the fact that you find each other attractive. And I think it's very difficult for the relationship to begin or proceed or sustain itself without that. But having that, then what do you want? Well, you want someone that you can trust. You want someone that you can build a view of the future with. And you want someone that you can negotiate with. And that's very hard to negotiate with people because they have to tell you what they think. They have to know what they want or figure it out. They have to tell you what they want. They have to be satisfied when they get what they want, which is also a very difficult thing to manage. And you have to continually update that because your life goes through different stages. And
your attraction wanes, as we all know at our stage of life, not fatally necessarily.
For yourself.
but you will go. I mean, you will not.
All right. I agree with him in that you do have to trust each other and be honest with each other. This is the thing. If you accept each other for what you are, then there should be no need for pretense, really. The people that do need a pretense is the ones that put on a mask. It all comes back to being naturally compatible as you are. Well, you should be able to be honest with each other because you would know that your partner wouldn't get offended, and they should not get offended, because they should have confidence to know that there's no malice behind it, because you've accepted each other as you are. I love you as you are. And this is like literally, I love you as you are because we're compatible. You as you are, you're compatible with me. So of course I'm going to love you as you are. And his other point about, he stays in shape for his wife and his wife does it the same thing. This is coming back to consideration for your partner. I guess when we go out, and especially when we're in a social setting, we'd like to have some pride in our partner and saying, and feel proud that we're able to say, yes, this is my partner. Feel good and feel proud that that's your partner. See, this is my partner. And so to give your partner a bit of, I wouldn't say face, a bit of pride in you, you should put some effort into your appearance. I know this is very much an outside thing, on the surface thing, and it shouldn't matter when people are in a relationship, but this is another thing because we live in a society, and society judges us as well, for rightly or wrongly, by the way we look. That is a factor. So it's just like, so it really comes down to surviving this society, and unfortunately, people that don't know you, they're going to judge you by how you look. I'm going to be honest, we all do it. You see a scruffy man on the street, what are you going to think about him? You see a hot bod with a six-pack, what are you going to do? What's your view? What are you going to think about him? See my point? All right, so let's see what else he has to say.
Be 25 forever, so that has to be renegotiated.
Yeah, well, and you have to work at that too,
right.
And that's something that people also don't understand, because they tend to think that, well, that all romantic interaction should be spontaneous. It's like, well, if that's your theory, then you might as well just give up right now if you're going to get married, because the only reason you can think that is because you don't have enough responsibility to make romantic entanglement virtually impossible. And what happens when you're married, especially when you have little kids, is that, and you both have a job, let's say, is you're so busy that the probability that you're going to find time for spontaneous mutual interaction decreases to zero. And so if that's what you're hoping for, then you're never going to have it. And so what you have to do is you have to make time for each other. And, if you're dating, when you're establishing a relationship, well, you put some effort into it. You decide that you're going to go out for dinner, and you dress up to some degree, and you try to present yourself to each other in some halfway mutually acceptable manner, and you hope that there's going to be a positive consequence of that you're going to find each other attractive. But then people somehow think that once they're married, that the same amount of effort isn't necessary, and that's wrong. I would say more effort is necessary on the same front, and you have to think it through. It's like, if you don't want to be bitter about the intimate element of your relationship, how much time do you have to spend together each week? And my rule of thumb, sort of derived from clinical observations, is that you need to spend 90 minutes a week with your partner talking. And that means you're telling each other about your life and staying in touch, so that you each know what the other is up to. And you're discussing what needs to be done to keep the household running smoothly, and you're laying out some mutually acceptable vision of how the next week or the next months are going to go together, right? So that keeps your narratives locked together like the strands in a rope. You need that for 90 minutes or you drift apart. And you need to spend intimate time together at least once a week, and probably more like twice. And that has to be negotiated. And if you don't negotiate it, and if you don't make it a priority, then it won't happen in all likelihood. And then, well, then you don't have it. And that's a catastrophe, because there's not that many things in life that are, intrinsically, what would you say, engaging and meaningful and pleasurable and also bonding, all of that. And if you let that go, then, well, part of you dies and part of the relationship dies, and well, then there's always the possibility of becoming attracted by alternative entanglements, which you would do if you had any spirit left, right? I mean, that's the thing, is if your relationship at home is entirely unsatisfying sexually, What are you supposed to do with that? Nothing? You're supposed to just bear it? I mean, in one way, the answer is yes, because it's your marriage. But another way is, well, what, that's all the fight you've got in you? You're going to just let the erotic element of your life die and accept everything that goes along with that because you're not willing to cause a bit of trouble to ensure that it's maintained? And, you know, and we're not very good at thinking these things through consciously. And I mean, people are bad at negotiating, period, as far as I can tell. But they're particularly bad at negotiating things that are deeply private. How much do you want your partner to know about you anyways? It takes a lot of trust to have a real conversation about what you need and want.
Yes, and about being spontaneous, I agree with him on this point. Look, through life, we have so many things that we've got to take care of, you know, and deal with. So being spontaneous as well, that's something that you can do while you're dating because you don't have so many responsibilities, shared responsibilities with each other that you have to go through. And so when you go to see your date, you've allocated that time. And when you see that your date during that time, you can be spontaneous then. But when you're living together and it's day-to-day constant and you're always together, it's very difficult to be spontaneous. And yes, life does get to you. So you shouldn't need that spontaneous thing because you are sharing your life together. But he is also correct when he says about 90 minutes a week to spend time with each other and, you know, share each other's goings on in your life. That is being part of a team, okay? That you update each other on what you've been doing because obviously what one person does is going to affect the other. So remember, you're working as a team. You have to work together, and so you need to know what your partner's doing, and you also need to enjoy time with your partner. I mean, you enjoy time with your best friend. Most people have a best friend, and they enjoy time with being with their best friend, so why wouldn't you enjoy time being with your life partner? And the part about intimacy, at least once a week or twice a week, that's ideal with him. That I guess I agree with as well because while sex really is in the scheme of things, it's only a small part of a marriage or a substantial relationship, a long-term relationship. However, it is a bonding exercise. Bonding with your partner, being naked with your partner, you're feeling comfortable with your partner. It's a very intimate moment. And I guess when he makes a point about when people are not getting it, they tend to start drifting off to find it elsewhere. And I guess that comes to, lack of intimacy and wanting that closeness. So those are my thoughts on Jordan Peterson's views on the key to a happy marriage, which most people forget about. So what do you think? What do you think about his points? Do you agree with him? And do you agree with my interpretation of it or my view of it? Or how I've drilled it down to, in other words, another explanation for what he said. Let me know by leaving your comments below, and if you've enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it will help me out a lot. And that's it for this segment, and until I see you next, remember to stay safe, confident and gorgeous.